I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 at 0.2 Febic speed and found 5 new details that I didn't know before. And I promise you, no details are repeated from my original breakdown. Now, I've rewatched Volume 2 at 0.2 Febic speed as well, and that video will come out before Volume 3 releases. Now, with only a week left until Volume 3, the idea is to relive all the amazing moments of the Guardians so we can better enjoy Volume 3. So without any further ado, Ronan moves his leg while literally threatening the Guardians. But after watching the movie again in slow motion, and this time with the sound on, I have now figured out the reason why Ronan moves his leg this way. So let me get into the detail. Right after the Guardians crash lands on Xandar, because of the crash land, Peter's cassette tape automatically starts playing Ooh Child by 5 Stairsteps. And a few moments later, Ronan the Accuser appears from inside the rubble. And that's when he does this.
Oh! You're Guardians of the Galaxy!
So even though we're only listening to the background score and Ronan's voice, but Ronan standing there was actually listening to the song Ooh Child, and that's why he was tapping his feet to the music unknowingly. Now Lee Pace, who plays Ronan in the film, was probably distracted by the music playing in the background, or was directed by James Gunn to do it. Either way, it's an amazing detail, and it's something I can never ignore watching Volume 1. Number 2. The entire reason Peter was dancing and singing before fighting Ronan is because he was trying to distract Ronan from Rocket and Drax, who were preparing the Hadron Enforcer. Now Rocket and Drax aim it for Ronan's hammer this time, instead of Ronan himself, as they figured as long as Ronan holds the Power Stone, nothing can destroy him, so they have to make him get rid of it. Now as soon as the Power Stone gets separated from Ronan's hammer, notice the veins on Peter's hand were already glowing purple, the color of the Power Stone. But Ronan had no such glow despite being in the same vicinity, meaning the Power Stone was already calling upon a Celestial, aka Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill. Peter was destined to hold one of the Infinity Stones in his bare hand. Number 3. After the Guardians get arrested by the Nova Corps, here on this holographic screen, we see their profile details. Now one thing that I never noticed before is that when talking about Gamora, the screen has a circle around Thanos, Ronan, Nebula, and Gamora's face. Now the color of the circles match with the character it focuses on. For example, Thanos has a purple circle while Ronan's is blue, Nebula's is light blue, and Gamora's green. Number 4. Now in the same sequence, we get hints at Gamora's backstory, which we've seen visually in Infinity War where Thanos kills half the population in Gamora's world. But notice the description says Gamora is one of the last surviving member of her race, meaning Thanos never went back to check on her planet after he quote-unquote saved them. He never went back to see if killing half the population was really helpful. But in Infinity War, Thanos said this.
Your planet was on the brink of collapse. I'm the one who stopped that. Do you know what's happened since then? The children born have known nothing but full bellies and clear skies. It's a paradise.
So according to Thanos, Gamora's planet should be prospering by now, but it isn't the case as proven by this description, meaning Thanos is not a reliable narrator. He chooses to tell whatever truth he feels is right, and it goes without saying that most horrible people lie to themselves the most, to make themselves feel better about their own actions, and Thanos is no different. Number 5. Just before escaping the prison, Peter goes through his bags and sees that his Walkman is missing. He then hands over the bag containing the orb to Gamora, and tells her to go and wait for him outside.
How are you gonna possibly—
Just keep the Milano close by. Go.
Later, Gamora and the Guardians realize that even though Peter gave her the bag, but he kept the orb to himself. Peter did it as an insurance because at the time they didn't know each other very well. He knew that if he didn't keep the orb, they would have no reasons to wait for him outside. Now here comes a detail that I really love James Gunn for. Notice just before handing her the bag, Peter had the bag opened. He didn't close it. Then he brings the bag closer to his body and hides it underneath his jacket. And that is exactly when he steals the orb from inside the bag. While Gamora's attention is completely on him, he plays this clever trick. Now, of course, kudos to Chris Pratt for playing this scene so beautifully, but the real credit goes to James Gunn, who directed Chris to act it this way, because James knew that dedicated fans will come back to this scene to see if Peter really stole it, and that's why he told Chris to bring the bag closer to him for a few seconds before handing it to Gamora. And now a bonus detail, when we see Peter Quill's profile, notice it has a system error sign over his DNA scan, indicating something isn't right about his DNA, and rightly so because towards the end of the film, the Nova Prime reveals this to Peter Quill.
I'm not Terran?
You're half Terran. Your mother was of Earth. Your father, well, he's something very ancient we've never seen here before.